How can I help you today?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm here to pick up my son's Game Boy Advance system.
Okay, how many units did you reserve?
We've got just one.
Okay, great. You know, we still have some extra units available. Maybe you have a friend that's looking for one? Have you seen the new unit? Yeah, which accessories does your son have now?
I thought that he could play the games he had on this new unit.
Look at that, the enhanced color, the graphics, the action, it's all so improved.
Another 25 cents, please.
The Morning Stream. They're coming to get you, Barbara. There's one of them now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to TMS. It is the morning stream for Thursday, May 15th, 2025. We got a lot of fives today.
A lot of fives.
Yeah, 5, 15, 25. Pretty
25. Good. I know. Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good. I wish we had a month that was 55. That'd be cool.
I can't drive 55.
No. Well, you can now because, I think about this sometimes. On the way home from Vegas, everything's 80 now. There's only like 2 stretches that are slower. And even in those cases, they're like 65, 75 or something. Like, is that, did Sammy Hagar even give a shit anymore? Like, what does he think?
Even like now he can't drive 55 because he'll get pulled over for going too slow. Yeah. Is the problem.
Yeah. Old man Haggard, they'll call him instead of Hagar. Yeah.
Haggard.
Back in high school, for some reason in high school, people called him when I was I guess I was a senior, and he had, I'd have been a sophomore or a junior because it was right when he came to Van Halen. So 85, I think that was.
Yeah.
And for 5150, and everybody wanted to call him they wanted to call the band Van Hagar.
Yeah.
But this one kid called it Van Heflin. And I think that's a real person. Isn't that like an old school performer or something? Some guy named Van Heflin?
Yeah, it sounds familiar. Van Heflin.
Or an actor? Oh, yeah, there it is. Van Heflin Jr., American theater, radio, and film actor. Why this kid, A, knew who that was, B, would say it when we talked about it. And he went to the 5150 tour with me, the concert. So he's really not like he's not like a weirdo that doesn't know. He knows who this is. He knows who Van Hagar. A
lot of this guy's movies are like 1941, 1947. Like is your friend watching the Johnny Eager and the Prowler?
Exactly. This thing is ancient. Look at this dude in that mustache. You're not even allowed to have that anymore.
No.
Born in 08.
310 to Yuma.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah.
Well, I do like those movies.
Back when it was 308 to Yuma.
Oh shit. Well, bring that mustache back is all I got to say about Van Heflin. Look at that thing.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you got to take good care of this.
That is the I think of Omar Sharif or
those are good
Rock
days.
Hudson. But yeah, Van Hagar, because I mean, it really, Sammy Hagar changed the sound of Van Halen just by his presence, his voice, not in a way that like completely made it the Sammy Hagar band, because it was still sounded like Van Halen thanks to the guitar work of Eddie and the rest.
Eddie and the rest,
and the rest, but Alex and Michael and all those people, but
sure.
But his because as the vocalist you kind of changed the sound of the band, just like Gary Cherone. But I think he did it more of a way that was, no one ever called it Van Cherone.
No, they didn't, but they should have, because that's amazing. Van Cherone.
Van Cherone.
Would you remember what your reaction would have been? Because at the time I was 16, 15, and that change happened. Van Halen was like a huge deal growing up. That was like the band, the rock band to admire, to love, to whatever. And then I remember this happened, and also equally, Diamond Dave going off and doing
his own
just a gigolo,
and
all that stuff seems so discordant to me at the time that I was
crazy from the heat.
There was probably a period of time there where I was kind of depressed about it. I was like,
certainly, because it's something. The Hagar years are something I've learned to appreciate a lot more as I've gotten older. But for me, growing up, Diver Down and Women and Children First and the self-titled albums, it's like, this is the sound of Van Halen. It is, David Lee Roth. It is that mix, that sound. And so when he left and Sammy Hagar came in, at that time I was very disappointed. Very disappointed. I lodged my complaint on the internet post haste.
That's right.
If there was an internet to lodge my complaint upon. But yeah, no.
I had a buddy, Kenny, in junior high when they did the 84 album, 1984. It's called 1984. With the Smoking Angel, who my mom thought she thought there's no way we're getting that album in this house. Forget it.
That's funny that seems so innocent compared to everything else that's come since, right?
Oh, it's just like nothing. It's just like a whole bucket of nothing. But anyway, I remember he was so mad at Van Halen for having the Jump on there because it was so synthy. Even though it was a huge hit for them, it was such a weird pull away from the usual Van Halen sound.
The guitars, the very guitar forward sound. Yeah, this is all, yeah.
To him, that was like airplane or Jefferson Airplane going to Starship. That was the level of switch for him.
That's good. Sure.
And
or even Jefferson Airplane going to Jefferson Starship before they did the full-on Starship thing. That was a big synthesizer switchover for them. Mm-hmm. The in-between.
A bunch of bands were tempted. Styx was like, there was a bunch of this going on. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame any of them. They were just kind of moving with the times. But this friend of mine, even though the rest of the album was pretty solid rock and roll style Van Halen normalness, Panama was like a banging song.
That was great.
He just, he swore them off forever. And I wonder if I checked in on him today, found him on Facebook and said, hey, Kenny, how do you feel about this? Oh, no, Kenny was the one that called what's this guy's? I don't remember his name. Kenny's the one that said Van Heflin. Kenny was an idiot. Don't trust Kenny.
Kenny.
Yeah, never trust Kenny.
Kenny. Yeah, I mean, look at the lineup of this album. I'll Wait, Jump, Panama, Hot for Teacher.
Is Eruption on there?
No.
But there's like an Eruption style thing, right?
There is. It's the intro to Panama is Eruption like, isn't it?
I think so. Like a little solo Eddie Van Halen.
Or 1984 going into Jump. That's a little over a minute long. The
could be that. Yeah. I mean, I liked it then, and I like Jump now. But I get it. I get that was jarring.
Sure.
For people,
Yeah.
It changed fundamentally how they sounded. Maybe it actually led into the Hagar stuff even better, though, which would come next, because there's a lot of synth in the Hagar album. So maybe that was a good thing for them to ramp up there.
It was kind of the shoehorning end of that. By the way, the song I'll Wait, written by Eddie Van Halen, Alex Van Halen, Michael Anthony, David Lee Roth, along with He Came From Somewhere Back in the Long Ago. Michael McDonald co-wrote I'll Wait. Yes.
Shut up, dude. So is it technically a yacht rock song? Can we call it a yacht rock song?
Oh, gosh. Right. No, I don't. Yeah. Too much. You know what? The prominence of electric guitar kills any chance of that being a yacht rock song. And he co-wrote it, but he surprisingly does not appear like doing background vocals or anything. They just co-wrote it with him, but didn't say, hey, want to come to the studio and sing it?
It's just a weird thing to imagine those guys all in the same room.
Yes, it is. Right, totally.
Not the kind of band co-op I would imagine, but what do I know about that era? Jay Funktastic in the chat says, as a Van Halen super fan, you guys are killing me. Did we get something way wrong? We must have. I don't know.
Probably the Eruption talk.
Probably.
Because that was, see, I can't remember what song that's the lead into. Is it,
You Really Got Me? You Really Got Me? Rebel Scum says it is.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they didn't, because they were never standalone. They are always lead-ins when he would do his little solo 2-minute deal.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jay. We're not as super fanny as you. I wonder how Jay feels about the Sharon years. How was that on for the super fans out there?
Yeah, no kidding.
I was done by then. I had washed my hands of it. I had moved on.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It was like, fool me once,
yeah,
shame on me. But that debut album, I mean, look at that thing. Running with the Devil, Eruption, You Really Got Me. Mm-hmm. Ain't Talking About Love, Jamie's Crying.
So good.
Their cover of Ice Cream Man. I mean, that was for a debut album, that thing kicked ass.
That was great. Yeah. One of LA's greatest rock band success stories. LA, right? Am I getting that wrong, Jay? Let me know, because maybe I'm wrong about that. Because there was an LA explosion, right? All these rock bands from LA, and Van Halen was one that popped out.
Yeah, LA. I mean, I always think of David Lee Roth as being from LA, so I guess the rest of the band would be from there too, right? Or at least formed in LA. Yeah.
All right.
Pasadena. There we go. Pasadena, California.
Oh, interesting. One good song on the Sharon years, but it's basically an Eddie solo album because he played everything on it, including drums. Really? Where did Alex go?
Wow.
Alex is like, I ain't doing this shit.
Yeah, count me out.
I'm out of here. I'm going to go drink with Michael Anthony out of his giant Jack Daniels guitar.
Right.
Anyway. Hey, everybody, we got a few things. Yeah. Got some feedback today. We've been using that new voicecast.app thing so much that sometimes it's easy for me to forget to check emails all the time.
Oh.
So I did that today. We got 3 of them in a row, and I want to follow up on some of this stuff because it's about things we've been talking about. For example, shaving your eyelashes, Brian. We kind of didn't like that, did we, much, you and I?
No, we did not. We thought it was a...
Yeah, nobody.
Listeners agree.
Yeah, listeners. 4 out of 5 listeners and 2 out of 2 hosts agree. Shaving your eyelashes sucks ass. So here's what he says about that eyelash business. Hey, scorch and burn, the eyelash thing. Men, for the most part, are idiots. LOL. Wow, that's a broad statement there, buddy.
Yeah.
Also, I kind of agree. Sort of agree with him.
Not wrong.
He says, I have had alopecia universalis my entire life. That sounds like a new game from the there's that Universalis
on the Unreal
game.
Engine. It's alopecia universalis.
I don't know why it sounds like that, but it does. Anyway, I haven't had eyelashes, eyebrows, at all, let alone hair all over my entire body since I was 5.
Wow.
That's crazy. Wait, how'd you have it when you were? I guess you had eyelashes and eyebrows when you're 5, if that's when it happened.
I guess
because that can just kick in, right? My understanding is it's like an autoimmune thing where you could be 12 or you could be 30 and suddenly, bam, all your hair falls out and you don't have it.
I didn't know that you could develop alopecia at some point in your life. I think I always assumed, well, you're born with it or you're not, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Is Dr. Tolbert in the room? I have no idea how this works. Anyway, I do. Well, the only thing here's all I know about it is people like to donate to it. And my niece, Anna, can grow the most luxurious, thick, rich, amazing blonde hair you've ever seen. Like the kind of stuff that you would want to harvest and make blankets out of and build a hut with. I mean, amazing hair. Just hair incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So she'll do this once in a while because she, for whatever reason, grows hair like a weed. She grows her hair out long, cuts it, donates it, does it again, cuts it, donates it. Like, I don't know how many times she's done this, but she's like 22 now and she's been doing it since she was a kid. But anyway. Alopecia experts weigh in. Anyway, says, let me tell you what's going to happen because I have lived it. These fools, talking about the eyelash trimmers, will have a giant increase in 1, crap getting in their eyes, 2, eye infections of one kind or another, 3, dry eyes, and 4, styes. He says this will end much sooner than it began. Let the snow globe at the Hojo feature Flojo saying ho-ho, says Will in Austin, Texas. Damn, man. Yeah, so he's been through it. He knows. He knows what to expect from that. Yeah, I mean, they are protection. Forget the visual, that they're pretty to look at, but they serve a purpose. Much like everything on our body, it serves a purpose. The grand design of evolution isn't, let's see what looks good. That's right. Yeah. Even our male nipples, because here I am talking about shit I don't know. But I assume at some point during our fetal development, the intended development goes one direction or the other. Sure. Usually, fetal presenting female, fetal presenting male. I don't know what month that happens, but at some point our nipples become stupid. So now we got these dumbass things that do nothing but just sit there and get an ingrown hair occasionally. F these things. I hate it. So as much as Brian is absolutely right, everything on us is there for a reason. We've evolved because of how we've evolved. But sometimes, like the appendix, which is less and less important to the human body,
Right.
Lots of things like that. The male
Pinky
nipple.
finger. Yeah.
Can we get rid of the male nipple?
I mean, I imagine it will at some point.
Yeah, maybe it will.
Evolution. Let's look at a million years from now, assuming we survive the next 3.5 years. But a million years from now, will we have pinkies? Will we have pinky toes, for that matter?
Right.
There's a useless thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we need our toes for balance, but I don't think the pinky's really carrying its weight. I don't think it's doing 20% of the work on the foot.
I'm with you 100% on that. I've said for a long time, pinkies are useless. They're stupid. They're good for picking your nose, and that's it. But we can pick our nose other ways. We don't need it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Also, you shouldn't be picking your nose, okay?
No, don't do that. That's, I mean, blow your nose. Don't pick it.
Yeah, blow. Picking will just push things further and add new nightmares to your nose. Don't do it. Pretend this doesn't exist and then grow a vestigial tail instead. That's the goal of
There you
humanity.
go. Perfect.
About the size of a pinky, in fact, back there. That'd be great. Here's another one from Steven. Not our Steven, different Steven. He says more on this subject. Says, I'm a 47-year-old... Steven 2, The Reckoning.
Stephen B.
Stephen B, I like that. B. Steven. He says, I'm a 47-year-old guy who has super long eyelashes. I always have. I do not worry about them for most of my life. But in the last decade or so, they have started to become an issue. I've started to get random white lashes that are very visible and distracting. Oh, interesting. I guess you could see them, right?
Yeah.
In your peripheral.
Oh, yeah. There's a dude that I patronize, a 3D printer, really knowledgeable 3D printer dude named Uncle Jessie. And he's got very stark white eyelashes, just a few of them, but enough to where it's like it catches your attention when he's talking.
Did he grow them because he's stressed about the Duke boys getting into trouble?
He's stressed about the price of filament going up.
That works too. That'll totally work.
Yeah.
It says starting to pluck these at random, or those random ones, but it's painful and irritating. So I recently bought some small shears that are like mustache trimmers, and I just start trimming the ends even though they're not directly in my field of vision. I'm not going to look any more manly. I'm doing this because they are annoying and always in my field of vision. I absolutely don't shave them all the way down, and I only worry about lashes that are directly in my field of vision, says Steven. Well, yeah, this is a different case. You're not, you're not trimming them all the way down to the nubs, which is the bad thing. And secondly, you're only going for your weird ones.
Exactly. Yeah. And don't worry about the visual aesthetics of it, man. It's nothing.
Yeah, big deal.
It adds. It's the what's the thing about it? It's our imperfections that make us perfect, or make us attractive, or whatever.
Now, when your filament guy, does he talk about this at all? Brings it up? And
I don't think he's ever brought it up. Oh, actually, Wes says, per Uncle Jesse responding on Reddit, my eyelashes started turning white last fall. Vitiligo, skin pigmentation. It's actually all around that eye. So I gave you a photo in our Discord of the dude.
Oh, let's take a look here.
So it's not just his eyelashes, it's his like.
Oh, I kind of like it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Vitiligo is cool in general. I know that some people wish they didn't have it, but when I get that option in a video game, I almost always use it for my character builder because I just think it's cool looking. Like
it's cool. There was a
patchy skin.
One of the models on the thing Tina watched, I guess it was just America's Next Top Model, had a really cool vitiligo pattern. It's really, really cool. Like almost like a Star Trek kind of thing.
Yeah. And I get why, as a kid, you're going to get shit for it because kids are mean.
Yes, because they're mean, and anything that's different is a cause for making fun.
But I think it's kind of beautiful in a weird way. Mm-hmm. I like it. I'm not saying I want it necessarily at this stage, but whatever. I'd take it. Let's go. Let's get it in. Also, what
By
if
the way, Dr. Nikki says appendix is important, has its microbiome. Pinky toes are super important for balance.
Yeah, but what about the pinky finger, Pinky? There, Nikki. Holding her to the fire here a little bit.
That's right.
So, okay, I get it on the balance thing, but I think I could manage. If my pinky went away on my toe, I think I could figure that out. But she may be right.
What would you lift when you're drinking wine or coffee?
I mean, if it wasn't there, would I lift this or would this just no longer? Got a good question there, Brian. I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah, exactly. If you can't lift your pinky when you're drinking a glass of wine, then that's why we need it.
Yeah, I do lift it when I do
why we
that.
need it.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep drawing cartoon characters without it. So that's just the way of it.
The Simpsons knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I've been doing that my whole life. I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Simpsons were right, although they gave God a pinky. I don't know if you noticed that. Anytime,
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
I never thought about that. So when they drew God, he's got 4 fingers and a thumb.
Yep, they never show a face. It's always him talking to Homer or something,
Yeah,
and
right.
he's always huge. And then if you look at his hands, he's got 5 full fingers, whereas no one else in The Simpsons has 5 fingers. I don't know what the like. I understand that there's some kind of inside like noticeable thing about that, but I don't know what the joke is. I don't know why it would be 5 and everyone else has 4. Is the joke that God makes imperfect beings? Is that the idea?
Right. He did not make the Simpsons in his own image.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Futurama folks, do they have
They're 3
4
as
fingers?
well, I think. Just 4
They're 3 as
fingers.
well? Okay.
3 fingers, 1 thumb. I think.
4 total? Yeah.
Characters. Let's just take a look. This is
I know. I'm curious now.
It's fun to explore. Yep. 1,
Yeah,
2,
it's
3,
like
4.
4 fingers. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And except Zoidberg, who has just clamps.
Well, sure.
If you want to count him. And I guess Bender has 3 articulating
Right. Appendages.
whatever those are. Yeah, digits. I don't know if you can call those fingers. I don't know what the hell those are.
Digits. Digits is good. That's it. Yeah.
All you have to do is bring up Futurama, and I want to watch it. That's all you have to do. All right, one last email. This is from Kyle on the Saint Elsewhere ending. Again, these all came to FilmSack. They all came to themorningstream@gmail.com. I don't know why I said FilmSack. He says this: Hey, Scott and Brian, regarding the intro for the show yesterday, you talked about the ending of Saint Elsewhere and how it kind of sucked. I still stand by this, but we'll see what he says. He says, on paper, yeah, it's awful, but it gets a little more fun when you consider the implications of everything in the show being in the mind of Tommy Westfall. He was the autistic kid in the end.
Right.
There's a theory called the Tommy Westfall universe that opens a rabbit hole into the far-reaching implications of this, which basically results in about 90% of American TV shows taking place in the same fictional universe. Says, of course, this all means nothing, but it's kind of fun nonetheless. Love the show, though, Kyle. Bilbo Hansen when he's in the chat. So I'm going to open this. We're going to take a look at it.
This is fascinating. So Dukes of Hazzard and Love Boat actually could have taken place in the same universe.
Exactly. Same with MASH, they say. Cheers. Bob Newhart. Let's see. We need that one.
Oh, because these crossed over. Really? These all crossed over.
It says Dr. So, okay, in the MASH case, Dr. Mark Craig mentions MASH's Dr. BJ Honeycutt in the episode Santa Claus is Dead. So if that whole show is made up, any mentions they made in that show of other pop culture stuff happening are also included in the that universe is the idea. I mean, it's stupid, but look at all these shows: Oz, Chicago Hope, Homicide, Degrassi Junior High, Boston Public, Providence. I mean, so much.
Sure.
Oh, there's even stuff on the web.
Because other things connect to Cheers, for example.
Yeah.
Then all those things then become.
Yeah, how does it? They say fireflies in this? Hold on a second.
This is bizarre. I love this. St. Elsewhere's Dr. Turner is investigated in Homicide Life on the Street. John Munch from Homicide Life on the Street appears in an episode of The X-Files to question the lone gunman. A mugshot of a Malcolm T. Wiggins, a character from The X-Files, appears in Veronica Mars. Veronica's fortune cookie, an episode of Veronica Mars, contains the numbers that appear in Lost. Charlie from Lost once dated a woman whose father worked at the paper factory in Slough from the UK office.
I love dumb stuff like this.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
This is right up my alley. I love this crap. That reminds me, I was going to tell you there's this theory that you've seen Big Lebowski, right? Multiple times.
Yeah,
okay.
Many times, yes.
I saw it recently and I watched it with a slightly different eye because I read this theory going around that Donny was never there and that, I almost called him Big Dan from Oh Brother Where Art Thou. John Goodman's character.
John Goodman, yeah.
Walter, there it is. Walter keeps yelling, "Shut up, Donny," or "Shut the F up, Donny." And, he's always yelling at Donny.
Yeah.
But these people are right from the beginning of the film until nearly the end, before Donny has the heart attack in the parking lot. No one else acknowledges Donny but Walter. Nobody.
Really?
And even when there's times I was like, Donny, you don't know that, or he'll say something that's even directed at the dude.
You're out of your league, Donny.
Yeah, and the dude doesn't say anything. He acts like Walter's just kind of talking him nonsense. And I watched it. I went, oh man, this is weird. Maybe that's a thing. I started to believe it, and then I got to a scene where Donny and, in fact, I recorded it. Here, I'll play it. This is hilarious. I haven't had a chance to play this because I haven't had a good reason to do it. Let's see. I love this shit. It's so stupid and dumb, but I love it.
Yeah.
All right, here it is.
It's like Ferris Bueller being what's his face is Cameron's personification, kind of his Tyler Durden, basically.
Yeah. That's it's a very similar thing, except in this case we're all making it up. The audience is.
Of course, yes.
So there's this scene later on where this happens.
Where you going, dude?
Going home, Donny.
Phone's ringing, dude.
Thank you, Donny.
It's the first time the dude talks to, answers, or interacts with Donny and acknowledges him, which throws the whole thing in the shitter because now obviously Donny is being talked to by other people. The whole point is Buscemi is meant to be, that character is meant to seem backgroundy on purpose because no one's given him that.
Right.
They do not let
he's an
them,
afterthought.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's the funeral where they go out and throw the dust and it lands in the dude's face and everything.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love that.
Icor brings up I like the Ferris Bueller's Living a Groundhog Day theory. Oh my God, I've never heard that before, but I love it. And it explains so much of how he's able to get the perfect timing of like seeing his dad in the car next to him and then ducking down when his dad looks back over, like he knows the exact timing of everything.
I never thought of that one. Now I'm going to have, see, this is the problem. Only problem with these things is they distract you when you're watching these movies again.
Right.
Because I enjoyed my recent watch of Lebowski, but I struggled to get past this because it kept coming up in my head. I kept going, oh, wait a minute.
Nobody's paying attention.
Yeah, like they're at the bowling alley talking to Jesus, and I'm like, all right, what do we got going here? And I notice, oh my gosh, no one's talking to Donny. He's just kind of there. And then Walter will say, he'll yell at Donny, and then Donny, but everyone else acts like nothing happened. And then I get distracted. I'm like, no, Scott, pay attention to the damn story. What are you doing?
Wow. It's almost like the Wizard of Oz and Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon album thing. I mean, obviously, it's not one you do on its own. You can't watch Wizard of Oz and be distracted by the Dark Side of the Moon connection if you're not listening to the Dark Side of the Moon. But you probably are still thinking about it anytime you watch Wizard of Oz since.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And it's just funny how humans are this way, because I'll even do this with, I was putting in together a short video the other day, and the script I had read, that I wrote and then read for myself, I put it in, and then I went to go put all the visual stuff in. I just slapped a video on top of it at first, knowing I'm going to go edit at certain points. And I just hit play, and it was hitting scenes right during my breaks, naturally, without me doing anything.
Really?
And it's not, there's no magic there. It's 100% happenstance.
It's random coincidence. Yes, exactly.
But what is it in us that loves that? We see that and we go, oh.
We want patterns. We want there to be, we want to see greater order in the world than there really is.
Yeah, it's wild to me.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's a fun little side note for you all at home. Let's get into some news, and let's inform the public. It's important. It's one of our jobs here, so we're going to do that now. Today's news is brought to you by
Coverville. It will take place at noon today. 2 parts to it. Number 1, Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo is turning 75. Can you believe that? 75? That guy, incredible. So we always talk about how much we love Danny Elfman and his soundtrack work and all that stuff. You should strongly be considering Mark Mothersbaugh as well for his post-Devo soundtrack work. The disco theme soundtrack that he did for Thor Ragnarok is incredible and works so well on its own.
Yeah.
So
he's had a hell of a career, that guy. Here he is right here. I have him in doll form. This is him.
Oh, look at that. You lost his glasses. Where are his glasses?
His glasses, and he had that stupid little multi-level pyramid hat. I lost that too. I don't know where that went.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
But the Pee-wee's Playhouse theme, you'd think, that has to be Danny Elfman because Danny Elfman worked with Tim Burton, who worked with Pee-wee Herman. No, that's a Mark Mothersbaugh thing with Cyndi Lauper sing the vocals, Betty Boop style.
I didn't know that. That's her?
Yeah. Come on in and the Pee-wee's Playhouse.
I didn't know that was her. I thought that I knew that was Mothersbaugh doing writing and stuff. I didn't know she had anything to do with it. That's crazy.
She did. She even went under a different name, I think. She did it as hold on a second. Let's see. It was Ellen Shaw was her name for that thing. So it was like
wow.
It's unmistakably Cyndi Lauper, but Ellen Shaw was her nom de plume when she recorded that.
So is that her real name? She born with that name?
No, I think she's really Cyndi Lauper. I think.
Oh, wow.
Cynthia and Stephanie Lauper. Yeah.
So when we were growing up, this was Mark Mothersbaugh, and then
oh my God, love it with the fake new traditionalist's hair.
Yep, yep. And then that's him now, looking like a cool dude now. Even what is he? 70? You said he's turning
75.
75. Jeez.
75. Yeah.
Holy shit! Where did our lives go?
I know.
All right.
I know. But anyway, so Mark Mothersbaugh. There you go. And then before that, though, we're going to tackle the album. Brothers in Arms, Dire Straits album that came out in 1985. 9 tracks on this thing, and I found great covers for 8 of the songs. There's one song on there, I have to look it up, but there's one song on there that has one cover that I was able to find, and it's a sound-alike, so it's like, all right, I'm not playing a sound-alike cover. So it's going to be 4 and 4. But what a great album that was. 40 years old, obviously. And
jeez. How do sound-alike covers even happen? They feel like they're against the point.
Time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's somebody, when somebody picks up a guitar and starts learning, the first thing they do is try and learn the opening strains of Stairway to Heaven or Black Dog by Led Zeppelin or things like that, where, they're trying to sound as much like the original as possible, saying, hey, look, I can do this note for note, just like Jimmy Page. But, when you're a band, maybe your goal is to, all right, let's see if we can capture this sound. Exactly.
Yeah. That's really weird because, I mean, I also get why a cover band would want to sound as much like him as they can because they're
a tribute band, right?
Tribute band.
Born Again and stuff like that.
But if you're a band that's got their own sound, their own music or whatever, you would want to make it your own or at least have it be unique or whatever. I mean, this is obviously a rule you live by with Coverville and always have, but for me, it's just as a listener, I don't want to hear it sound alike. It's boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like when you go to a bar and there's a band playing and they're doing covers. They're trying to sound as much like the originals as possible, so people are like, oh yeah, I like this. This is a really good cover of Tom Petty or whatever. Sure. But when you go to see a band play and they do covers, that's when you want to see them, like Postmodern Jukebox or I'm trying to think, Natalie Dawn and Jack Conte's Pamplemousse.
Oh, Pamplemousse.
You want a whole different thing.
Oh, there's such a great example of that. Take it and make it your own.
Yeah.
Well, all right, that's great. Bunch of fun stuff today. Noon today, eh?
Yeah, twitch.tv/Coverville and see which cover of I Want My MTV, and if they replace the slang, the homosexual slur in the cover that I play.
That little has a
exactly
his own jet airplane.
Spoiler alert, everybody who covers that song replaces that word, thankfully.
Yeah.
And I know Mark Knopfler's, he's talking about a character of this uneducated, ignorant refrigerator mover dude.
Yeah.
But that it's still a tough thing to hear in a song,
hard.
even though it's a character.
We had a tolerance for it in the 80s, but I'm sure he regrets it. Has he ever talked about it or acknowledged
I'm sure
it?
He has an interview, not that I've seen, but I'm sure there's interviews out there where he's talked about it.
Yeah. And I did yell Mark Knopfler's penis in a playthrough of one of the Resident Evil games. So
yes, you did.
So we were kind of even now.
That cancels out the. I don't know. Sure. Okay.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, makes perfect sense. All right, let's get to this Kentucky boy. Kentucky boy.
I saw this kid. I saw an interview with this kid.
Oh, you did? Oh no.
Well, or at least the article about this kid. Yeah.
Well, he made a goof. He used his mother's phone to order 70,000 dum-dum suckers to share with his friends. We'll find out what that equates to in money here in a minute. But anyway, the Kentucky woman was a sticky mess when she found stacks of boxes containing lollipops on her front doorstep. The surprise delivery was ordered by her young son while he was playing on her phone. Holly Lefavre, I think is right. Lefavre's says Lefavre's? Probably Lefavre's.
Yeah, there's only one R in there.
That's French for the favors.
It is, yes.
Right? So you would go up to somebody and say, hey, you said you'd help me move. You owe me Lefavre's.
Very good.
I think that's it.
Lefavre's.
Lefavre's. Anyway, she says she tried stopping the 8-year-old Liam from ordering this Amazon order of 70,000 Dum Dum suckers before the treats arrived, but it was too late. Well, that means that he placed it and she was too late canceling it. That's what that means.
Right, exactly. Yes.
They make it sound like she wrestled him to the floor and took the phone away.
Right. Don't hit send or submit or place order.
Not how it worked.
Yeah. Prime Delivery had already gotten their hands on it. They were loading up. I kind of wonder how many trucks were they able to do this with one truck? Probably not.
No, it says 22 cases, but what's a case? Like
a case is probably a box this big. So let's see. 70,000 divided by 22. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah. I like to have them.
It's 3,181 dum-dums per case, or 3,182 dum-dums per case. So 3,000 dum-dums, probably a box,
Yeah.
That's a decent sized box.
Yeah, that's not small. I mean, the Dum Dum people must have been stoked, or at least Amazon was, because they had the stuff in stock. But anyway,
they do have there's the box sizes. Yeah, so there we go. It's like
there's our picture of this. Let me see this.
It looks like they look like diaper boxes. It's funny.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's freaking great. Yeah, they're as big as you thought. Holy shit. Yes. That's a lot of damn boxes.
I like that there's like a couple other things like, the 70,000 dum-dums and a new hairdryer and...
a couple other things they had coming. Phone charger, sure.
Right.
It says here that, let's see, Amazon already delivered the 22 cases to your home. Quote, he told me that he wanted to have a carnival and that he was ordering dum-dums as prizes for his carnival. It's kind of cute. Again, he was being friendly. He was being kind to his friends. The surprise got worse, though, after a quick check of her bank account, which now she owed about $4,000 for. So $4,000 worth of suckers. That's a lot of suckers.
It was a lot of suckers.
Or as they say, lollipops. I don't say that shit.
Sure. Or chupa chups.
Chupa chups. No one says that. They all say suckers. You know?
I'll say suckers.
What are they saying? Britain, lolly still? You guys with your weird ways of saying?
Probably.
Lolly.
When back when you were on the show, when you went to the bank and they had the bowl of dum-dums, all with their heads out so you could see the flavors. Mm-hmm. Did you have a flavor you gravitated to?
Always. If it was purple or red.
The mystery? Yeah.
If it's purple, well, I don't know about mystery. The one if I thought it was grape, that's my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime I think it's grape, even if I'm wrong and it's fine, there's none I don't like except root beer. I think root beer suckers are the devil's anus. I hate those.
I just had a root beer, one of those little candy root beer barrels on Tuesday night. They had them at the restaurant that we played trivia at. And I'm like, Tina comes back from giving them our last set of answers and ending our round, and she comes back and I'm like, why do you smell like a Barq's?
That was the first thing out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian. Why do you smell like a Barq's? Why do you smell like Barq's? Barq's is the only root beer I can drink. I don't like root beer. Root beer floats make me nauseous. I really don't like those.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. It's this weird thing since I was a kid, man. It's funky. It's a little bit like, to me, I lump them in with the black licorice. To me, they're the same.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I think the flavor combination of vanilla ice cream and root beer to me it's like peanut butter and jelly or steak and raw horseradish. It's like the perfect pairing of things.
And those two things you mentioned, I love. So I don't know what's wrong with me.
Sure.
I don't know why I don't like it. I just, even as a kid, didn't have a bad experience or anything. We would make it at a party or something, and I would try to eat it. I'd be like 6, 7 years old and just go, yeah. I'd feel sick when I ate it.
Certain things, some things don't track with certain people. I used to, my go-to Dum Dum flavor at the first bank where I had my account was always butterscotch because my cat at the time, Juliet, this is when I was living on my own in an apartment in South Denver. She loved butterscotch dum-dums, and so I'd have to lick it first, and then I'd put it out for her, and she would just go lick, 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 lick. She just loved it.
That's wild. That's great.
Yeah, and
I've never heard of a cat who likes butterscotch. That's crazy.
My God, she loved the flavor of butterscotch, and so my grandmother came over, my Hungarian grandmother, and I had to demonstrate, but it was, these were lollipops. She doesn't finish the whole lollipop, so I'd put the paper back on it, and then when I'm sitting there watching TV, I'd like lick it again and give it to her. And so my grandmother comes over, and I'm like, "Oh, check this out! The cat loves these lollipops." So I unwrap it, lick it, and then give it to the cat, like hold it out for the cat. She's licking it, and my Hungarian grandmother goes, "Brian, I hope you don't ever put that back in your mouth, because cats, first they lick their butts, then they go around the neighborhood and lick every other cat's butts." And so, of course, don't tell me what I can't do, John Locke.
Oh, that's great.
Of course, I immediately stick it in my mouth and watch her have a complete conniption over me putting that thing back in my mouth. Of course I'm going to do it if she tells me.
Yeah, that's what we do with the adults in our lives. We're supposed to rebel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I'd do it now, though. I think I would probably shy away from that now.
Oh my God. She had Tina was there for that. It was like her face split open and a demon came out. Brian, oh my gosh, don't put that in your mouth. It's got cat butts on it.
Maybe in the old country it was a real problem or something.
I guess so. The cat's butts were a lot dirtier in old Hungary.
Yeah.
Before the Russian occupation.
Oh, that's funny, man. Yeah. Well, this kid, they're going to give their money back, but she had to work with the bank and Amazon to get it all done. So everything's fine now. But
good.
Let's.
Did you at least get to keep one case? I'm hoping that she at least said, you know what? Well, you could keep one case.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to hang on to one. Like, what did we decide were in each case?
3,182.
Yeah, that's enough for the whole plan to have fun with your friends. You could do it in one box.
Right.
And
exactly. If this kid has more than 3,000 friends, then that he has a popular podcast.
Oh my gosh, dude. Can you imagine? He's got a huge TikTok channel, big following.
That's right. Watch me eat another dum-dum.
It reminds me, I have a niece right now who is just sort of recently married, I guess last year. Or no, it's been 2 years now. Shoot, I forget. Anyway, my niece is her TikTok channel has exploded in popularity. And part of it is the usual TikTok thing where she's young and cute and she's half Asian and just, beautiful skin, and she's really into makeup stuff, and she does hair things and all this.
Things that work against you and me.
Yeah, all the things that make you and I failures on TikTok, right?
Right, yes.
But she also pivoted from doing mostly, like makeup stuff and that sort of thing to like health advice for like holistic methods of like losing weight. And it's just real simple stuff. Not like she's pretending to be a doctor or anything, but just lifestyle stuff. And that thing exploded. I think she's somewhere in the
really? Oh, that's great.
Millions of views. Like she's going to be one of these like huge accounts, I think. And
that's something to be proud of achieving with that kind of content. Right?
I agree.
Like,
she's not dancing half naked. She's not,
Right, exactly. Not doing I'm going to put on a skit where I play all the characters and it cuts back and forth and then I mug for the camera.
And no offense to anyone doing the things I just besmirched, okay? It's fine. If you like dancing with the one nipple out, that's fine.
and I will say that the Shoujo's skit work is fantastic and a bar that every other TikToker should aspire to.
Oh, I love them. They're every time they come up, it's a watch.
I don't even understand a lot of her WoW references, but I still love all the stuff she does.
She is very funny. I found out, I didn't know this. I hope she's still doing well, but she had a little bit of surgery. Nothing serious, everybody. Nothing to freak out about. That's why we didn't see her in Vegas, though. She was recovering.
Vegas, which bums me out.
I know. You can't go to Vegas without seeing Sarah. It kind of bummed me out, too. But her TikToks are amazing. Seek them out, everybody. They're also on Shorts, Reels. She puts them everywhere.
Yeah. Puts them everywhere, which is the right thing to do.
Yeah, put them where the sun shines. That's what I'm saying.
Very good. Yes.
Let's do this story real quick. A cat. Well, back to cats. Look at this. Nice lead in, Brian. I don't think you even meant to do that, but we're going to talk about cats.
Unintended, yeah.
Cat got $5,000 for a gold tooth. All right.
You mean the cat? They bought a gold tooth for a.
Oh, I should say, I'm sorry. The cat got, meaning its mouth now contains a $5,000 gold tooth. Exactly.
Too many sugary lollipops, apparently, is why.
The cat got into the UPS truck and we're all in trouble now. The mischievous cat with a taste for destroying her mother's belongings has left TikTok viewers in stitches after a clip of her showcasing her new gold fang went viral. We'll look at that in a second. In the hilarious video, says Newsweek.com. Hilarious. I don't think nobody should tell me what they think is hilarious. I should get to determine that myself.
Exactly.
Hate that.
Here, check this out. It's hilarious.
Yeah. It's also got a connection to where you live. Shared on Friday under the username Tofu's owner. Her owner, Tofu's. The cat, 22-year-old Clarice Bosman from Denver, Colorado, says Tofu broke her tooth, and the vet gave her a real gold grill for $5,000. So here's the video.
Is the cat still howling, Clarice? Oh, look at that! Wow, that cat has a gold tooth. Yeah, that's a big cat too. That's an Inara-sized cat right there.
Oh, look at that thing.
Yeah,
but also, that's a lot. I think my gold tooth only cost me. I have one gold crown, and I think it only cost me $900.
Yeah,
I think $5,000's a lot, but maybe just to do an animal's tooth is really expensive or something.
I mean, why gold? Like,
I don't know. I don't know why even bother. Well, I mean, if the cat can't eat, I get it, right? But why not just an enamel crown, or not enamel, but
yeah, just a.
What are they called?
Whatever synthetic non-gold tooth.
Yeah. I don't understand that, but do we have a dentist in the house? We seem to have everybody else. We need a dentist.
Yeah.
We've got doctors. We've got lawyers. We have sheep brain scientists. Where's the dentist?
Tofu was adopted from Foothills Animal Shelter in Golden, Colorado. That's where we got Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh,
so
nice.
There's they might have been friends, Salem and Tofu. I don't know. That doesn't. I think it's been a couple of years since they got Tofu.
Yeah, that's great. I love the name Tofu for a cat. That's great.
It is a good name. Yeah.
We have good tofu in the house right now. Carter buys this stuff from H Mart that is seasoned in such a way that it actually, to me, just tastes like meat. And I usually don't say that about tofu. Tofu, usually I'm like, okay, I know this is good for me.
It takes on whatever flavor you put of the things you put with it, basically.
But this stuff tastes like spicy kind of Korean chicken, maybe.
Oh.
And man, is it good. Oh, my gosh. You know what? I'd eat that and everything if that was just there to have. I would do that.
Sure.
Be no problem. I'm not like super into meat eating for reason.
You don't eat meat for meat's sake.
No, I like it because it tastes good, and I need good sources of protein, and I need iron and all that. Sure. And I'm not going to do it with supplements. And I know plenty of people out there and listeners we have, I'm sure, about to pipe up about this, but I'm sure there's vegan ways to get all the places I want to go. But give me some good tofu, and I'm happy to substitute that in there. No problem. All right, we are going to take a break and think about this cat. And while we do it, play a song so Wendi can be here after the song. Yeah.
Think about what you've done with this cat and its gold tooth.
That's right.
Blacklist Union is the band that we're going to be listening to. These guys, let's see, where are they from? This is their second album. Frontman Tony West, known for his larger-than-life presence.
Love the name, by the way.
Time out to dive deep into several transformative ayahuasca journeys in the heart of the Amazon, preparing for this next era.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hollywood, California is where they're from. They recorded their album in East West Studios in Hollywood, California. He was raised in the Bronx, though, on bands like the Ramones, Bad Brains, and then made his way over to L.A. at 19 years old. Here is the band Blacklist Union from the brand new single. It is Mississippi Moonhound.
And now, by turning this dial, I will command the dog's behavior. Go, attack your master.
Wait, there's much, much more.
And we're back. Who was that again?
That is the band Blacklist Union. I just put a photo of the band in our Discord. So much eyeliner.
Oh, wow. Who's the guy that did the thing in the forest? Do you know which guy? Guy with the beard or
I
the...
don't know. Let's see if this says left to right. Does not tell me who is who in this photo.
Oh, look at these guys, man. They're
But if I were to
awesome.
guess, I'm going to guess Mr. Ayahuasca is dude in the center.
Yeah. This guy right here.
Oh, I was thinking the guy behind him.
Oh,
with the
that
t-shirt
dude?
with the shirt that says Amen. Yeah,
That
but
could be him. I like this guy over here with the black stripe.
the stripe. Yeah.
Yeah. He should be called, I want to give him a name. I don't know what, though. But he's a sub-boss in some John Wick movie or something.
That's right.
Is that... Oh, it's Ziggy Stardust behind him. Where are they? They're
Yeah,
at,
I don't know where that photo's taken. I imagine that are those all different versions of David Bowie? I think they might be.
I think so. They look like
Is that
almost hand-drawn. Like there's the one with the circle in the head. And
right? And that one right there, definitely the Bowie eye. So
yeah, I think they must be in, someplace that has a lot of Bowie shit, I guess. I don't know.
Bowie Museum.
Bowie Museum.
There you go. Blacklist Union and Mississippi Moonhound.
Nice. Get it, catch it, grab it. We're going to add Wendi to the show. My sister is here, or will be here.
Okay. All right.
I have it on good authority that she is interested in being here today, so we're going to play this.
Psychosomatic. That boy needs therapy. Psychosomatic. That boy needs therapy. Lie down on the couch.
Time to lie down on the couch and listen to Wendi fix all your problems. An actual working therapist who shows up here on Thursdays and helps you guys for free with the things you guys ask and say. Hello, Wendi. Welcome back.
Hey, how's everybody?
NoBetterYou.com. Woo! I got an email from you people this morning. And by you people, I mean you.
You people.
Yeah.
It's basically me.
Yeah,
people.
you and Adam doing your thing. It's good. I love it.
Yeah, he doesn't even know about the emails. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, doesn't he? I figured he was running all that.
I mean, no, I know how to do stuff.
You know stuff. You know things.
I know things.
Yeah, absolutely you
Send
do.
an email.
Well, it's good to have you here. I hope you're having a good week there in Dunford country,
Yeah, that's what they call Minnesota now.
Yeah.
Dunford country.
We just got to get the donuts here.
Yeah.
I did have my my first session, like a little what do they call that? A
group coaching.
group session with Logan. It was great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So
That's awesome. That's so cool.
And that's just a taste. We're not even into the real stuff yet, but yeah,
right.
I love it.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Think of it
cool.
as a precursor or a appetizer to the main meal. Think of it that way.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Well, more on that later. But
for
for now. Oh, hey, I heard something cool about your governor. Almost VP governor.
Yeah.
He said that because there's rumors floating around that the current administration might try to vacate or pardon that Chauvin guy who killed I can't think of his name all of a sudden. George Floyd, the George Floyd killing cop guy, who's currently serving a long prison sentence for his obvious killing. And he said, that won't happen. He's like, I will defy that order. He will not go free. I don't care what they do. And that was an interesting stance to take.
Well, rule of law is like gone. So
yeah. Well, since we don't care about other laws, why do we care about that one? Just let it rip. Well, anyway, we'll see.
I mean, innocent people, they got to go to prison, right? But somebody murders someone in front of all of us is
Yeah.
It's so
if he
gross.
gets let out, I mean, if that literally comes out of somebody's mouth, I may have to shit my pants. That may have to happen.
And I will tell you about
that'll teach him.
this town. This town is known for its, the Minnesota Nice, which is just passive aggressive anger, right?
Yeah.
So you actually unleash it. Oh, don't you know?
Oh yeah. If Fargo the movie or Fargo the TV show has taught me anything, which mostly 90% of it takes place in Minnesota all the time. It's taught me that is a warning signal if someone's being nice to you.
It is.
Yeah, that means watch yourself.
Yeah, and also, can we just talk about the Timberwolves, baby? Come on.
Oh, well, I haven't been keeping track. What's going on? I know you're really into it. Are they?
They just won the series against the Warriors. I mean, it does probably help that Steph Curry was not playing.
Probably.
But it's exciting.
Does that take you to the finals?
Sports teams.
Is that the finals then?
No, semifinals.
Semifinals.
Yeah, but
okay.
two years in a row. I mean,
That's not bad.
It's good. We took half your team, like they're half all jazz players.
Yeah, I know. Why'd you guys get all these jazz players? I don't remember what
because you guys are idiots.
No, we're terrible. Every time we have a rebuilding year, we screw it up at the end of the year that should have been rebuilding, and then we have to rebuild again.
And we're still rebuilding. I know. This has taught me, being a jazz fan, most of my life has taught me to lose and to be disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Or it's taught you to get right up to the line of winning and have that be that time that happens to be against Michael Jordan at his prime.
Yeah, game 6. Honestly.
Oh my gosh.
In songs, even. Anyway.
You guys don't even know. It's still.
You don't even know what it's
still
like.
Hurts. Still bleeds.
If the Nuggets can pull something out tonight, then maybe we'll see you in the finals.
That'd be so fun. Because I love watching Jokic, or not.
Jokic is great.
Half-ass everything.
I know. He's amazing. Yeah, like half effort, but he's just so great. And Jamal Murray.
It's unbelievable.
I have an 85.
I'll take the Nuggets. OKC's good.
Sure. I have an 85-year-old neighbor. Kim's always taking food to her. She's a very nice old lady, and she's super sweet, and she's a massive Nuggets fan. Like ridiculously over the top. She grew up in Golden, moved here I don't know when, but the other day we're like, hey, we got fresh batch of jambalaya. Can we bring some to you and your husband? And she says, nope, I'm in Provo at my daughter-in-law's watching the Nuggets play or whatever. She was so excited. But if the Nuggets go far, she is going to lose her 85-year-old mind.
Her mind. Cute.
If you met her, though, you might think she's like 59. She doesn't seem 85 at all. She's crazy.
Yeah, because your fandom keeps you alive.
That's it. That's it right there. We need mom to get into a basketball team. That's the answer.
Totally. How do we do that?
Yeah. Well, let's get to this thing. This is a bit of a follow-up that we got this week from a listener.
Which I love a follow-up, people. I love a follow-up.
Wendy loves a follow-up. It's almost like homework was done, kind of.
Yeah. There's something about it. I'm going to give it a grade.
Mrs. Dunford got her papers. She's going to grade it. So here it is.
Yes.
I'm going to call this person RB because they didn't say explicitly if we could use their name, and I just don't like doing that unless they say. But here's what they say. This is a follow-up question on adoption and mental health. Hi, this is mostly an academic follow-up to last week's Therapy Thursday episode, which touched on the deep regrets some people may have about not being able to have children. One of the things Wendi mentioned was the possibility of foster care or adoption for those unable to have biological children. A friend of mine was adopted as an infant, but the separation from her biological parents left her with an attachment disorder, something she was only able to identify after years of therapy and dealing with depression. I don't mean this as a critical email. I'm just genuinely curious about what Wendi thinks regarding the mental health impacts that adoption and foster care can have on children. Do the potential benefits still outweigh the potential challenges? Assuming we accept that no path is perfect, which I think you kind of have to accept. Anyway, for context, I interviewed my adopted friend about her experience with depression and adoption on my podcast a few years ago, especially in response to anti-abortion politicians who often cite adoption as a simple solution. Best regards, RB. I think Brian probably knows who this RB is, but maybe not. I'll tell you after if you don't. Or I'll tell you while we're talking. Anyway, so Wendi, this is a pretty good follow-up, and it's also a really great question. I've seen this in my own extended family's lives where adoption isn't that simple. It's complicated, where they came from, both mentally and sometimes physiologically. That sort of stuff can have a huge impact on where things actually go. It never seems like it's going to be quite as simple as, we found the perfect child and they're now yours and you will be the perfect parent and now everyone's perfect. It doesn't always go that way. In fact, I'm guessing that's the rarest way it goes. So how do you want to approach this follow-up here?
Well, I'm going to really take this from my clinical experience, which still counts as anecdotal. Okay. So I have seen this in clinical settings. I've seen enough of it that I feel some confidence in what I'm saying. But I also know that want everyone to know this isn't the research on it. And the research on it is what this person referenced this actually a little bit. Like, what did they say? No one is perfect. Well, kind of like, it could be either, there's like a little middle ground here.
Sure.
And that's kind of what we see. It is not... most adoptees do not have attachment disorders. However,
what is that? Just for the record, what does that even mean when you say you have a detachment disorder?
I'll describe it in just a second, but I just want to say, like, the numbers don't match that. this is kind of true of life, right? Not everyone is anything. And if every single kid who was adopted had attachment disorders, we would probably stop adoption. Like we would eventually maybe be like, this cannot be a good idea. Now, but many people who do have attachment disorders, however, are adoptees. Like it does happen, and there is a higher risk. And I can get into what that is. Okay, so let's go back and define what an attachment disorder is. Attachment issues, or like, I have a hard time feeling attached. You know, you could have a bunch of different things, but disorders means it's in a much higher category. It's affecting their ability to live their life and function. But
sure.
So the idea here is that there is consistent and responsive caregiving for a child as they're developing, and that develops secure attachment. That attachment can be broken by death. That attachment can be broken by illness. Other things can, you know, in a birth family situation, that attachment can be messed with in various ways. And so you're maybe working with insecure attachment styles due to various reasons. Adoption might be an example of like, oh, there's this like cut in attachment. And usually if they're like very young babies, you have less of a risk of that because the new parents then start immediately with the caregiving.
Right.
Now, everyone can have crappy parents, adopted or not, right? Who are not paying attention to your needs, not meeting your emotional needs, not present. They could have their own challenges with mental health that make them unavailable to make those bonds happen. So categorizing it as an adoption issue isn't fair. Is there a higher risk of it happening? Yes, because we're blending a couple of things that just, you know, add elements to that. So for example, you know, we have a family with 3 adopted kids, and 2 of them sort of came and behaved really well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And as much as you don't want to be a jerk, it's easier to parent a kid who behaves well than a parent who hates you and is constantly fighting. It doesn't want you to touch them and, you know, et cetera. And so the 3rd kid we got came with really almost obvious attachment issues from day one.
Yeah.
She came pretty angry. The guy who carried her on the plane for however many hours essentially kind of chucked her at our parents and said, good luck. Like
have fun.
She was a hard kid. She remained a hard kid. I think our parents did a pretty dang good job of trying to do this attachment and care and consistency, just like they did with everybody. Didn't work all that great.
Yeah. In an era where we didn't know a lot about any of this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think I do not have a lot of criticism for mom or dad with how they tried to help our hard adopted sister, you know, adapt and everything. I think they did as good as they could have done.
They really did with what they had. Could they do it better now? Maybe with more resources.
Probably.
But man, there was a lot of therapy. There was a lot of support groups. There was a lot of treatment. You know, they did a lot. Bless them, man.
Yeah, I know.
In the 80s.
I didn't think about it because we were all kids and teens, and we didn't really.
And
we just know she was annoying. Yeah, we just didn't care. Which isn't really. I mean, that's the normal thing for siblings, I think. But now looking at it in reverse, it's like, oh my gosh, dude. That was a lot.
Right. And one element to that is we don't have any idea of her birth parents' genetic history. So when I'm working with somebody and I say, hey, does anyone else in the family got something similar to what you have? And we find the aunt or the uncle or the cousins who are struggling with ADHD or struggling with autism or struggling with bipolar, and we can see some of the genetic elements. When you don't have that, you don't know any of those sort of biological issues that may, you know, predispositions.
Yeah.
And so if you get an adoptive parent who just, it's really difficult to attach to a child who's, you know, responding because they're let's say they have a neurodiverse brain of some sort and it's just not clicking. That's really tough, and you have to really work on that. So a lot of families who adopt and really want to do it right are often really aware of this and being proactive about it. So that's the reality. I think there's another thing in the email though to talk about, which is this idea that, and what's the sentence? We're not going to make this political. Is this what we say these days still?
I mean,
we're not gonna make it political.
I think we try to, but it's hard not to. So.
Right. But here's the thing. There's a lot of folks like take the abortion debate of, well, there's adoption. And I want to throw this out as like, however you want to work with that. I'm just old and sick of men having any opinions about stuff. So like, shut up, all of you. But women's bodies get to decide. Anyway, but this idea that like the magic formula for pregnancy is to, because you don't want the baby, is to give it up for adoption. Easier said than done in some circumstances, and people all want white, brand new babies, right? And so you're running into all sorts of systemic problems when it comes to adoptions and ethics and some other things that happen. And so to just say, let that be the answer, rather than, how about this woman who's going septic in Texas? Let's actually just make a better choice here. It does, like those kinds of elements are just too blanket and too unfair. But what I do know from my clinical practice, when I am helping somebody who on their deepest level felt unwanted, these are typically kids who were parents didn't have any choices, didn't really want them. That does occur, which of course is heartbreaking when your last week's emailer is like, I just want kids, right? But this does occur. This does occur. And so my hardest, most sort of painful clients tend to be ones that on some level had their parents do the parenting thing to some extent, but there is a deep sense of not being wanted. So if you're adopted and you're feeling that about your adoptive parents, we're going to tie that to also being adopted / abandoned starts to become the feeling, as opposed to the story of, I have a good friend who adopted 2 kids, and from the get, it was, your parents were so brave and we are so grateful to them. They wanted a better life for you, and we're doing everything to make sure that gift is, like the story was, you're wanted, you're even wanted by them, but they were 17 and 19 and they couldn't do it or whatever, Right. So the story behind your history matters. And I think the story I knew about our siblings, Scott, it'd be interesting to see what you think it is. I was always told Misha was left on a bus. Same. And that was the safest, most loving thing that could have happened, because someone would find her. She was wrapped. There was a note. Matt was wandering. That felt less loving. Yeah. But but then Tara's was her mom gave birth and left, and they think she was the story was always wrapped around Tara being abandoned and Misha being lovingly cared for.
Placed somewhere where someone would find her and bring her to a better life, even though arguably, physically, Misha was malnourished. She had all kinds of other issues. She was
and left on a bus.
Yeah, treated worse. Right. But the story you tell each other, based on your immediate experience with the personalities, like now I look back at it, I'm kind of annoyed, because that wasn't just the story I was told; it was also the story that I would tell. It's like, oh, what happened with these adopted siblings? Well, Matt was, found wandering, so they put him in an orphanage, and he was there till he was 9 or however old he was, 8, and we adopted him from that. Which, by the way, brings up questions about, if anyone should have a detachment disorder, it should be Matt, because he had a very early whole lifetime of no attachment to anybody, except an orphanage where next door they had crematoriums running all day, like just kind of a nightmarish scenario. And then he comes to the States, and he's always been wonderful and kind and close to our parents and a goofball, but he was never a mess. He was always really hardworking and always motivated and all these things, like the things you worry about. Whereas Tara seemed like she came the most well packaged in terms of like exposure to things. She was healthy when she was
born in a birthing center.
Like with help and everything. And so why we tell ourselves the story that we told ourselves, or that we were being told, and then that was the story. I don't know why we do that.
Yeah. I mean, weird. You do it because it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And chicken the egg. Oh, they're really nice. Here's a nice story. Or we'll tell a nice story and they become really nice is tricky.
Yeah.
And Tara's example, I mean, I have often thought of it this way. She would be dead without mom and dad's attention and attempts to
100%
attach and work, right? Like, I absolutely believe that.
Yeah.
But as parents, we sort of do that. And you take a child and you take their core story about themselves. And this is what matters, right? It's whatever is internalized. It's whatever is felt on a very deep level, very, very young. I'll work with someone and find very, very, very young parts of them that are really trapped and felt like they weren't cared for. And then, so leading to this question about our emailer interviewing someone about depression and being adopted. So you have depression, anxiety, a stomach ache, a headache. Our body only has so many ways to sort of show that it's not okay, right? Mm-hmm. I have often thought if I could be in charge, we would stop like vomiting and diarrhea. I feel like we could have other things happening, like a beeper would go off, and we'd be like, "I'm not well."
I would love
but
that.
It's so frustrating.
By the way,
or a cold.
Yeah.
Like, do I have to stop breathing for this? I mean, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
But it only has so many options, and it's usually inflammation, right? Yeah. And so it is so few options. And if you think about young trauma, like really baby level and early death or early injury or any of those things, you don't have language yet. In fact, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but you don't dream until you have words.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that language is necessary for dreams. And I think of that as language is necessary for stories, and stories are necessary for dreams. And our brain's development requires a couple of things before it can do what it does now that we're all just used to. And so you take these really young kids who have no language and no story and no way, obviously you're at the most risk of any time as a human species, right? Mm-hmm. You're no giraffe who's going to get up and do the stuff.
No.
And you are 100% reliant on caretakers. What your experience is with that caretaker, that mirror to you, has this effect. So I want to say as a caveat, if you're all new parents or thinking about being new parents, it's like also, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like it feels like all the weight in the world on you, on one hand is kind of true. And then on the other hand, we're also pretty dang malleable. And so we can change and we can improve attachment. Attachment is not born and done and you can never change it. You can take somebody who has like a really insecure or an anxious attachment and put them in a partnership with someone who's securely attached, and you can heal that attachment to secure, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And just statistically, most people are actually securely attached. We're looking at 60+% of people are defined as securely attached. And so you guys might say, that's not that great. I'm like, no, that's pretty great, because most of my clients are not. So it's the bad world syndrome that my brain gets to see all the time. Anyway, so yeah, it's the adoption piece is a factor here, but it is not the sole thing. It's not causation. There's some correlation for sure, and can be.
Sure.
And I think the adoptive parents can really make a difference in that attachment. Real hard when you have an angry, screaming kid join your life, and you got to work for it, right? Which is what we saw. We saw both versions, and
so I have relatives who adopted a child at age, he was 2, and has been nonstop hard, Terra levels, but worse, if you can believe it. And a lot of it was blamed. The story was a lot of it, and I don't mean this as I'm not trying to be facetious. I mean, in the context you're talking about, the stories we establish about why things are hard. The story there was that, well, he was very coddled by his mother, his birth mother, right up until she gave him up for adoption, and that separation of this constant, maybe over caring for, like holding all the time, not letting the kid be very independent, sort of mothering style, and then suddenly go away, I don't want you anymore, was enough to send this kid down a path that was real hard. Does that jive? Is that the kind of detachment disorder we're talking about? The ones that people fear is they've had some time with their birth mother. It isn't an infant. Like in the case of, I'm not sure what Tara's thing is, but like in Misha and Tara's case, they were both babies. In Matt's case, he was 8.5 or whatever it was when they were adopted.
He was 11.
11. Was he that old? I always think he's younger than that. I guess I was 8.5 or something. Yeah. When Matt came. But is that I guess what I'm saying is that, does that story hold? That you can, that kind of ripping away of your support system that abruptly can be the thing that's gonna,
Yeah. One way to think about it, and that is a case too, is pretty old in the sense of like you're starting neurologically, you've got a lot more sort of connection happening with your caregiver, and so it's an attachment injury. It's a wound. Think of it as a death could do the same thing. It is the same thing where you have lost this primary attachment. If a baby in a hospital, the reason they have done that is because that primary attachment hasn't been created outside the womb, right? And so it theoretically is easier. And so in this case, it's just, 2 years too long for probably that kid. If I'm thinking of the kid I'm thinking of, there's also other mental health challenges going on as well, right? It wasn't simply you were taken from your mom at 2.
And some of it was genetic, they think, because they've got a history of this thing on both mother and father side. The birth father, very similar stuff. So you're right. There's a lot more to it than this simple story. It is interesting though that is kind of the story.
Yeah. And the story then helps parents survive it. Like just this Mother's Day, I call mom and I'm like, happy Mother's Day. And she's like, I've talked to everyone. It's been a great day. But Tara hasn't called me as a joke because she knows that's not going to happen. And it's like, it doesn't matter how far removed an adult relationship is, which their relationship's pretty far removed, that you still don't have this, a child, right? The attachment still exists. And so if you can think about like any relationship anybody has, we can strengthen those bonds or they can get weak. We can spend less time together and, all of those different things. And that's true. That's the malleableness of humans and bonding and attachment. We need experiences. We need the right neurochemicals to be present, and we get closer or we move further away. And that's true with our caregivers at any stages of our lives. The challenge is very early, when those early caregiving moments are rough or for various reasons, there's wounds there. That can lead to sort of a lifetime of a couple different things. Sort of lower self-esteem is pretty common. Depression can be a result. There's our body, again, only has so many ways to tell us something's a little bit off. And it may be that foundational safety wasn't created because our initial mirror was cracked, or that initial mirror was angry all the time, or not available to us all the time. That's all we've got. We've got the face of our caregivers. We have them holding us or not. We have our diapers changed or not. Those kinds of messaging when we're very young. So that rift is difficult. And so some people may be listening to this thinking, I've struggled with depression my whole life. And okay, well, let's get your therapist to talk to you about this what else have we talked about that may be an explanation for this depression. It could be that we've got a family genetic deal going on. It could be my life was really hard, or I had a really challenging time in my life I haven't quite recovered from. We could find lots of motivations and reasons, but if you really are not seeing any connection to it, it's valuable to talk about. And there are practitioners that can help you go really young. Sometimes hypnosis has actually been helpful for this, hypnotherapy, and there's some other versions. Art therapy is really good for this, music therapy. There's a lot of ways to sort of connect to very young parts of us. And IFS, my favorite, is another one of finding out where some of these young wounds might be, and they might be abandonment things or some other stuff. And it just doesn't seem like that because you're like, oh yeah, I go to lunch with my mom every week, or my dad takes me fishing. I shouldn't feel any of this, but there is something sort of nagging that maybe you want to pay attention to.
For sure. Well, this is we love these follow-ups. As you can tell, they open up like big new bits about this. You know, the original topic takes us a little deeper. So, RB, huge thanks for following up. Hopefully, that helps answer some of your questions.
For sure. Yeah.
And
can I throw in one more political thing? Really
please
quick?
go ahead.
Yeah.
I cannot. Like, I don't have one single ounce of energy left for someone who does not care about kids after they're born. I cannot.
Oh yeah, no, I'm done.
Let's defund Medicaid. Let's do that right now. Great idea. And so every kid with disabilities in this country who isn't a millionaire, and even then probably still has Medicaid. I mean, it's the cruelty of, it's not pro-child, it's pro-fetus. That's all this is.
Yeah, which is
so frustrating.
It's a weird thing to be. Pro-fetus and not be pro-child is like being, it's like buying gas for a car you don't own. Like, what's the point?
Just drives me crazy because of this very topic of attachment, good parenting, good, solid, young life. You have to support a family to be able to do this well. Even with every support in the world, it is the hardest job, truly the hardest job. And to have all of anything that's going to make it better for you, like, let me just say, my kids have had free school lunch since COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
They started it then. They've kept it going. I can afford school lunch. I cannot tell you the mental load it has taken off of me. First of all, my boys eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
Number one, I save all of that money. I never have to think about what they eat. I don't have that on my plate anymore because it's just right that kids eat, right? And so I think that is pro-child, right? And I understand you got to figure out how to budget these things. I'm not an idiot, but I also recognize, like, you don't get to say you're against abortion if you are not for children and have a conversation with me.
Yeah.
Because if you tell me all the ways you want to support a kid during that fragile developmental stage and support that family and those parents, great. I want to hear it. I would love to hear your plan.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. Although I have this, whatever little you have for those people that stand on that hill and fight that, I slightly less somehow. I don't know how. I don't know how. All right. Well, that's awesome. Wendi, knowbetteryou.com, humming away. Anything you want to mention there? Anything to look forward to, sign up for, watch for?
Yeah. I mean, you can still sign up for the Time Mastery course. You can be Brian's cohort. You can hear how Brian is changing and growing.
Right.
Yeah. So
I did everything that I said I was going to do during Logan's session. I did right after Logan's session.
Okay. And how do you feel? Feel good about that?
I feel great. Yeah. That's
awesome.
very productive with it.
Very nice.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. And that's really what it is going to be. This is just baby steps. The good stuff will start June 2nd. So you have up till then to sign up. It really is going to walk you through. It's funny because as I'm developing this and filming it and doing all this work, every client I talk to, I'm like, shall we talk about your time? They're always like, yeah, actually. And then I'm using some of that same stuff with them in real time, and they don't know I'm doing this because they don't know I have this other thing going on.
Tricks.
And I'm like, I'm just watching their whole like weeks change, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I knew it worked. I mean, I know it works, but it's just exciting to like build this. And so what's fun about Know Better You is you're going to do it with a group and some really cool people. And I think even Claire is going to join us.
What?
What?
Are they even allowed?
Yeah, baby.
I mean, there's a reason we discriminated against the Irish back in the day, and I'm not saying we should keep doing that. I'm just saying.
Can I choose which group she's part of?
Yeah. Guess what? Your live meeting, Claire's asleep, so that you won't ever have to like talk to her. No, but it really is going to be. There's a lot of helpful stuff if you have a neurodivergent brain, ADHD. Like we're gonna cover a lot of that stuff too. So you're not like, oh, this is just for really hyper productive people. It's 100% not. It's for everybody.
All right.
It should be fun. Join us.
That's fantastic. Well, Wendi, have a great week, and we'll hook up again next week and talk about more cool stuff here on Therapy Thursday. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right.
Very good.
That was funny. The Claire part, I mean.
Yes.
I should be clear about what I think is funny.
Adoption's funny.
Yeah, you kids with your separation disorders. That's hilarious. Well, anyway, hey, we got a few things coming up. Like Brian mentioned, Coverville today at noon. That's at twitch.tv/Coverville. If you are in the mood for some video game talk after that, good news. Core will be on today, 1 p.m. With me, Bo, and John. We got a lot to talk about, including the idea that Nintendo might be able to brick your console without your permission.
Right, exactly. Listen, they feel like if you're going to mess with your hardware, they can mess with you right back, and they'll win.
Yeah, they'll win. They have the control. They have a kill switch, turns out. We'll see how serious it may actually be or not be, but we'll talk about that later. Also, tomorrow there will be a TMS Friday. Monica will be here in place of Brian. Brian will be driving. He'll be listening in his car, though, which means we need to watch ourselves a little, okay?
Yeah, exactly. I will be trying to take notes. I'll be having Tina's mom take notes while we listen to the show so that I can send in emails and text messages and recordings.
Yep, you'll never... So we're really going to be, stepping lightly, as they say.
Right.
But anyway, that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. Going to talk about horror movies. I got big questions for her about a couple of things like that, and that'll be fun. So that's for you patrons only. Patreon.com/TMS if you want that extra content. You can get all the old ones as well. So please be there for that. Film Sack will happen this weekend. Brian will be calling in from a remote location, undisclosed.
Using my Rode Go microphone.
Your Rode Go. Fantastic.
While Tina and her mom go out to Country Buffet, or what is that place called? Country Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel. There you go. I have some
Cracker Barrel, and
I have some breaking news. Sorry, I got to share this. I was just delivered buttered corn and a pork chop.
Look at that. And a pork chop.
Yes. Honey, this looks great. You know what she's trying to do? She's trying to keep me with the proteins and the veggies and staying away from the carbs, and she's right to do it. This is fantastic. I mean, there's carbs, but, less simple carbs, more complex ones.
That's right.
Good.
Dr. Nikki, I'm going the opposite direction of Durango, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Darn it. Well, you're not going to. That'd be awesome. Seeing her would be.
But don't feel bad. I'm not going to visit anybody while we're out and about.
Nope.
Even though there are people I could easily visit, that I should visit.
Just your nephew, really, and your mother-in-law for a nice long drive. So it'll be fun.
Exactly.
Anyway, we will be doing Film Sack this weekend, though. And if you're looking to do your homework, we are watching. Oh, I forgot.
Final Destination 3.
That's right. We're getting ready for the new Final Destination, folks. We're watching the third in the series. We've seen 1 and 2, so it's time.
Can I just say, like, I have a crush on Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think we all do after Scott Pilgrim. But I didn't realize it took me a long time to figure out who played her sister or who's playing her sister in this thing. And if you're a fan of Silicon Valley and you love the love interest for Middleditch's character, I can't remember, Richard's last name.
Richard character, yeah.
Yeah. His love interest, the woman who's always an assistant to some venture capitalist. And it's like, oh my God, I have a crush on her too. It's like, I get to sit here and just gush over the leads in this thing.
Yeah. And root for their survival as the world tries to end them. So that's
right.
all.
Exactly. Yes.
That's all we're going to be thinking about on Saturday. So do check that out. Also, quick note, whilst we were talking with Wendi, we got the word that there are a handful of swag bags still available from Vegas. We had to kind of get everybody else fulfilled and done before we could, commit to it. But it's up on the store now. So if you go to frogpants.shop, just look for the TMS 2025 swag only entry there. And you can grab it. Grab it while you can. There's only a few left. And we just wanted to make sure anybody who missed them the first round can get their hands on those. So go check those out. They are up. They are cheap. And they are available now. Everything else is at frogpants.com/TMS with one exception, and that is whatever song Brian's about to play.
That's right. It's almost, we can't call it done until we play this last song. Mm-hmm. This is going out to Ryan from Michigan.
Whoops, you cut out a little bit. Okay,
I'll start over.
Yeah, let's try that again.
Ryan from Michigan says, hello, TMSers. I'm sorry, but I have a melancholic request. On May 18th, 2020, my wife was diagnosed with stage 4 inflammatory breast cancer at 37 years old. Oh, stage 4, man. That sucks.
Yeah.
While she has thrived for the past 5 years, she has been hitting some roadblocks in the past month, but regardless of those, we are celebrating her 5-year milestone in Jamaica. We don't have a lot of musical interests in common, but one song we both really like is Whatever It Takes by Imagine Dragons, a song that has a great message for anyone dealing with the worst life can throw at them. Love you guys. Signed, Ryan from Michigan. Definitely my heart is going out to the two of you, Ryan. And
that's rough, dude.
Hope she can beat it. You know, there's the medical technology has excelled so much in the last several years, so my fingers are crossed for you. This is a cover of Imagine Dragons' Whatever It Takes. I didn't have a lot to choose from, but I really like this one anyway, so I'm kind of happy to do it. One of my favorite a cappella bands is a group called Straight No Chaser. You've heard of them. In 2018, they came out with the album One Shot and included this great cover of Imagine Dragons' Whatever It Takes.
Roses are red, and I love to dance. When I'm looking for great shows, I go to frogpants.com.
That's why Sanka is the only coffee that works for me.